I'm not gonna stop pretending I work at Saturday Night Live until I'm at an SNL show. In this video, we'll see if people believe me in person or online, and I won't stop until I'm there. So this video either takes place over a couple of days or weeks or years, I really don't know. I've always wanted to go, so how hard can it be? Turns out it's really hard. So while I'm doing some more research into the 3 normal ways to get into a show, I thought it'd be fun to try and make my own way. Maybe if I could convince enough people that I work there, the staff would believe me too. It's Wednesday and the show is on Saturday, so let's get cooking. First, I need a convincible outfit. I figure a simple sweater vest, shirt, or a hat could make this whole thing a lot more convincing. NBC sells all the items I just showed in their gift shop, but for a pretty penny. And unfortunately, they've done a really good job at deleting knockoff merchandise from the internet. So hopefully the hat is enough. Next, I need a good story. If I'm a young guy filming on an iPhone, then the only way this will be remotely believable is if I'm like an intern filming for social media. I honestly think that checks out, but I also don't want to disappoint people. My goal is to get into SNL. Not to be mean. I don't want to say something like, hey, you want to be on Saturday Night Live? And then be like, kidding. I need to set the bar very low to the point where people won't care if it's fake.
I'm an intern at SNL. Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions?
Sure, man.
All right, brilliant. So Peacock is about to hit 1 million followers on Instagram, so I'm trying to get that account active and make that happen.
Okay.
Is it okay if we play a quick game and that would go on the Instagram story?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love the show Friends?
0.
That's not a number, that's not an option.
I mean 1, I guess.
Okay, bet. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much of a morning person are you?
0, but I'm gonna say 1 to continue the number.
How excited were you when we saved The Office from the clutches of Netflix and brought it home to the best streaming service, Peacock?
Literally 0, but I'll say 1.
Dude, we're on a hot streak right now.
I mean, I'm just being honest.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hate SNL?
How much do I hate
How
SNL?
much do you hate it?
0, 1.
Okay, so you really hate it then. So,
No, I mean, I love it. So 10.
so you really hate it then. Wow.
Wait.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your favorite NBC show?
Probably Will and Grace.
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10 though.
A 10.
Okay, a 10. I haven't heard of that one. That's good. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how believable is it that I work for SNL?
10.
10. Let's go. Thank you.
After convincing one person, I realized it would take a lot more people to convince the staff. So I decided to head straight to the source, an employee at 30 Rock.
I'm an intern at SNL. You mind if I ask you a few questions? Sure. Okay, so Peacock is about to hit 1 million followers on Instagram, so I'm trying to get the account active with some stuff. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love the show Friends?
I did not watch it enough, so I'll give it a 6.
Okay, bet. This question's from our friends at the Today Show. How much of a morning person are you?
Oh, 10, 11.
I love it. How excited were you when we saved The Office from the clutches of Netflix and brought it home to the best streaming service, Peacock?
4.
How much do you hate SNL?
Oh, wow. Hate is a strong word.
I know.
You know? 2.
2? Okay, so you hate it a lot. Got you. What is your favorite NBC show?
Show.
Yeah.
Wow.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your favorite show?
10.
10. That's a good one. That's a good show.
Yeah, I know.
All right, last question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how believable is it that I work for SNL?
No, it's believable.
I bet.
I'll give you 3.6.
All right.
Yeah.
I can't believe he didn't believe me. What if I never get into SNL? What if I never finish this video? It looks like I need to take a different approach. But first, what are the 3 normal ways to get into SNL? First, you can know somebody and get invited. 30 seats are given to both the episode's hosts and musical guests, and the show's staff can also invite people, but I don't know how many seats they get for that. So that's over 60 seats reserved, but there are 300 seats at Saturday Night Live. And 2 shows, the dress rehearsal and the live show. So what's the most common way for people that don't work at SNL, not like me, to get in? Before the start of every season, you can email NBC explaining why you think you should get to go. If they like your reasoning, you get entered into a lottery system. If you win the lottery system, you'll then get invited to a random show on a random weekend. So if that weekend doesn't work for you or you don't really like the host, too bad, that's what you get. And for that reason, some people that win the lottery don't come, which leads to the third and final way to get tickets into SNL. Standby tickets. People with standby tickets are seat fillers for the folks that don't come from the lottery. But it's also hard to get a standby ticket. On the Thursday before the show, you have to apply online at 10 a.m. If you're fast enough, you'll get an email inviting you to stand in line the next day from 6 p.m. to midnight. So 6 hours in a line. If you do that, then you'll get a standby ticket with a number on it that determines where you'll stand in line on Saturday. Once you're in that line, you'll keep moving through different lines in different rooms, and if you're lucky, you'll make it all the way to the elevator where they'll take you up to Saturday Night Live. But I've legit read stories online of people that do everything I just described, make it all the way to the elevator, and then are told, oh, we just ran out of seats. So I'm going to bed, and tomorrow morning I'm gonna try to apply for a line that could lead me to another line, and then a couple more lines, and then an elevator. Maybe. Okay, I filled everything out in under a minute, so I think my chances should be good. I also entered as a single person party and applied for the dress rehearsal show because I figured that'd be a little less competitive. And it only makes sense that an SNL employee would see the whole show before it's live. But I won't know if I actually have a chance until I get an email. So let's try a new approach. Social media can be a delightful tool. Yesterday, I sent out a lovely DM to Summer, this incredibly talented trumpet player at SNL. I said, hey Summer, I cover local events and talent in New York City and was wondering if I could interview you about what it's like to play for SNL. She has not responded. Thankfully, I also requested to connect with 10 SNL employees on LinkedIn, and one of them accepted. So I will now send a similar message. Now, back to standby. I got an email saying I'm guest 197, which aside from feeling impossible given how fast I was, isn't great news. From what I found online, they usually take anywhere from 10 to 80 people with standby tickets. But you know, I'm running out of options and this video has to end at some point, so I'm about to go camp in a line for 6 hours. Okay, so I arrived early enough to let everybody know that I actually work at SNL, but I just forgot my keys. I had a bag with me with 2 sandwiches and a protein shake. I mean, I was ready to camp out for 6 hours. But then something awesome happened. We all got emails letting us know that tonight they're just handing out standby tickets to the folks that came with an email. No waiting in line for 6 hours, just take your ticket and go. So bam, here it is. I now know that this was because of a local protest that they didn't want the line interfering with. I also asked and I'm still guest 197, so I don't know, hopefully I'm just really lucky on Saturday. And who knows, I'm actually pretty hopeful that I'll get some responses on Instagram or LinkedIn. I did not. So now it's time for my last resort. Wait in a line for potentially no reason. Let's do it. Okay, the line started out empty, but quickly got packed. They also took my ticket and wrote 66 on it. So there was a chance. I waited in line for a while, kept moving up, and found some ways to have fun. Then right before they were about to cut me off at the line, they asked how many people were in my party.
There's one.
Hold on one sec, I'll be right back.
Except he wouldn't be right back, because I was the last person they let in. I was excited, but had to remember what I read online. You've only made it once you're in the elevator. They took me through security and brought me up some fancy stairs. Those led me to a beautiful lobby with the elevators. So close, yet so far. And then they made me turn my phone off. I asked them, how long have you worked here? And they said, since May. And I said, oh, me too, because I work at SNL. They laughed, congratulated me, and took me into the elevator. I am very happy to share that tonight I went to Saturday Night Live. But I also knew that this probably wouldn't be enough to prove it to some of y'all. So I posted this on my story just after I got out. Just ate some ramen and called the Beyond at the DMV. This strange sentence contains 3 references to skits that hadn't been aired yet. I've temporarily highlighted this story on my Instagram in case any of you would like to verify when it was posted. And with that, the video is complete. Thanks for watching.